Can you see me okay as well? Good, excellent. Right, so welcome to today, Overcoming Overwhelm. Today, over the next 45 minutes or so, my intention is to take us on a bit of a journey where you can start to go through and we can start to explore what overwhelm is and how it can show up for you, explore the areas in your life where you may be experiencing overwhelm, and I'll be taking you through a process to help you shift some of those feelings and sensations around overwhelm. I don't know where you're at today and how you're arriving in this webinar, but by its sheer energy around overwhelm, if you start to feel like today you don't have the capacity for this, know that that is okay, and that you will be sent a recording after this so that you can come back to this at any time that you would like to, when perhaps you're feeling like you've got a bit more space for it. If, as we go through the webinar, you start to experience a little bit more overwhelm coming up, at that point, I invite you to stick with it, unless it feels just too much. But the reason being is I'm going to take you into places that perhaps are feeling very overwhelmed for you, so that then you've got some clarity on what it is that needs to be cleared, and we will look at clearing and shifting. So certainly don't, this is about nourishment, this is about nurture, this is about support. So go to that place where perhaps you have your edge, but don't go over it. That's not a very compassionate thing to yourself. So yeah, this, like I say, once we get into it, you might have to stir. That's absolutely okay, but just go gentle and listen to yourself when you can. So who am I? For those of you who don't know me or don't particularly know more about the work that I'm starting to get really involved with at the moment, is I'm Tara Palaki, founder of the Feminine Space, and we create unique roadmaps for women who need help navigating their fertility journey. And really it's around nourishment and nurturing and support during this time, all whilst creating these loving experiences for each of you, but also these powerful toolkits that are going to really help transform the woman's experience to one that starts to feel more confident, more energized and inspired. And that may show up as one-to-one therapy, might be group support like this, or might be online courses. Now, obviously, the topic of overwhelm isn't just for people who are women on their fertility journey, although it is prevalent in that. But, let's be honest, overwhelm is quite a sign of the times, isn't it? So that's why I've opened this up to everyone who, we've got toolkits, share. Share from the heart. And like I say, I hold my hands up. Even last week on Tuesday, I reached a saturation point. I went into overwhelm, and I needed to engage some of the techniques that I'm going to be sharing with you today to help me transition out of it. And whilst overwhelm is nowhere near as commonplace in my life as it used to be, sometimes it happens and I do trip into it. But I'm so pleased that I've got a toolkit that I'm going to share with you today that's going to help shift that, because, to be honest, overwhelm is horrible and uncomfortable to be in. So what is overwhelm? When I started feeling into this, what started coming up for me was overwhelm being the sensation of too much. And that can be, depending upon who you are and how you respond to things, that can come up as a very physical body response. It might be a very strong mind response, or maybe just a set of stuff that you're not entirely sure what it is. And as we go through today, hopefully you'll start to get some more clarity on this. But one of the descriptions I came across around overwhelm was that being buried or drowning beneath the mass of something. I'm sure we can actually all relate to that, or that strong emotional effect. And for me, I believe that there are 5 areas that may trigger this overwhelm that we experience. So, for example, mental overwhelm. That can be through excessive planning, organizing. You know, I'm beginning to step up in my business at the moment, so I'm needing to do a huge amount of planning. I'm having to consider new technology. I mean, even this is new to me. And so I can hear some people. If you haven't put your mic on mute, if you could just pop it on mute for me, that would be great, please. And even this, you know, overnight, our world suddenly went online, didn't they? And so we had to suddenly start to think about things in a different way to perhaps anything we've done before. Then there's also the physical overwhelm. So you start going, you take too much on, don't say no to enough things, and start running into that exhaustion or depletion. And when you start going into that fatigue, exhaustion, depletion, then starting to push through, that's where the overwhelm really starts to come in, where you start to continue to push through even though you've got nothing left to give. And then that just keeps creating more of that sense of physical overwhelm. Oh, I've got to do this, and I just don't have it in me. Or there can be emotional overwhelm, such as the sensations of grief, or or loss, or a breakup. You know, especially things like grief is a huge emotional experience to be carrying, and that can cause a lot of that emotionally. I just can't take another thing. I'm full. That's certainly something I remember saying. I'm just full. Or this is one that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, I don't think, and that's sensation overwhelm. And that can be from loud music, loud noise, lights, computers, or actually it can also be, if you're like me, highly sensitive and empathic, from being around others too often. You know, I really feel my environments and those that I'm around, and I can easily pick up people's stuff. And whilst that's part of a beautiful skill set that I have, that can lead me to feeling very overwhelmed sensory wise. So I need to take time out. And finally, as women, where we are in our cycle can really have an impact on how resilient you are to overwhelm. And again, this is such key information for us as women as to how we navigate our daily life. By understanding how our cycle affects our moods, our energy, will give great insights to those areas where perhaps we will be less resilient to overwhelm. So I know in a few days I'm due to come on. What happens is I become more fatigued, and I start to perhaps become a little bit more tense or quick to anger. And so, you know, I'm going to be more prone to overwhelm than perhaps I would be in day 12 of my cycle. So this is really, really key information to help support you in navigating overwhelm. And what I would say is that if any time you start feeling yourself or notice that you've gone into overwhelm, the best practical thing you can do straight away is to remove yourself from that situation or from that experience that's triggering it, and give yourself at least 5 minutes and a couple of deep breaths and a cup of tea, right the way through to social media off, computers, laptops shut, put away in a drawer, step away from people, go and grab a book, sit outside, book a holiday, go on holiday when you can. But come away, give yourself some distance, because trying to sit and push through something in overwhelm just not going to happen, not effectively anyway, and certainly not something that's going to feel nourishing or nurturing to you as you go through that. And how would you know if you've been triggered into overwhelm? And this becomes really important to recognize some of your triggers. So, for example, it might show up as beginning to experience more negative emotions like anger or fear or guilt. And sometimes you may know why. Other times there may not be a logical reason, but you're still feeling these anyway. I'm not talking about the odd day. I'm talking about quite consistently feeling this. Usually a trigger, a sign that you can trigger someone. Or another one is disproportionate reactions to situations. So, you know, if you can't find your keys one day and you're like, oh, I can't believe I can't find my keys. Where have they gone? I can't believe I've been this stupid. I've put them somewhere. And, you know, you just misplaced your keys for a moment. That may be a sign that you've slipped into overwhelm. Or if you're physically ill and fatigued, especially if it's happening regularly, this will be another sign. Trouble focusing or completing tasks. I don't know about you ladies, but this is a biggie for me. When I'm in overwhelm, I just can't think clearly or straight. And that is a big sign of me recognizing, right, time out. 100% agree. Yeah, it's, you know, I do go into my head, which is, you know, very helpful to a certain degree, but I can disappear in my head. I've got a very active mind. And so it kind of like my brain juice gets burnt up and I then need to come away from whatever I'm doing and refuel, as it were. Or you may find yourself beginning to withdraw from family and friends. Again, I do this, that level of high sensitivity and feeling other people's stuff. Sometimes I just need to give myself some time out. Or the other notice, or the other sign you might notice, is that your emotions just start to colour your everyday experience. So, for example, really feeling grief when you're at a pleasurable event, you know, something that you would have historically enjoyed, and suddenly actually becomes something where you feel great sadness. And that can be a sign again of needing to look at nourishing yourself around perhaps you've gone into overwhelm. Okay, how best to support yourself with it. So that's a little piece about overwhelm. I mean, it is big, but hopefully it's starting to give you some clarity on how overwhelm what can cause overwhelm, and give you some ideas on what may be causing you some overwhelm, or going, I recognize that in me, or yeah, that resonated. Because this then starts to invite us into you now. I'm going to invite you to start connecting with, why are you here? What's your intention from today? So using your pen and paper, if you feel called to, you just keep it in your head. As we're talking about overwhelm, let's look at getting some stuff down. What are your intentions for today? Why are you here? And what do you want to get out of today's webinar? Now, you might not know, you just felt like this resonated and you wanted to come and be part of today. That's cool. Or it might be actually, you know, you've been really overwhelmed at work or with a friendship, or you're just mentally feeling very full, or you just want to be able to think clearly and freely, or your energy, you want to have some energy because you just feel very unmotivated. Maybe there's a relationship issue that you want to have a little bit more calm or certainty about. Maybe just overall, you want to be feeling just a little bit more calm, a little bit more resilient, confident, grounded, strong. Just make a couple of notes on anything that's coming up for you today around why you're here and what you'd like to get from today. Do feel free to share if you feel called to. Share in the chat. And again, I'm not sure. That's part of the whole thing about overwhelm, is it can make clarity a little bit harder. So, you know, it can be something as simple as just getting clear on what might be causing you overwhelm. Strengthening awareness. Yeah, clarity. Good. And the beauty about having a dedicated space, what I've learned, is when you have a dedicated space to start to tune in and connect in, it helps with clarity, because this is your focus. You've kind of tuned out from all the noise around you, and to start tuning more into you and what's going on in your internal world and your internal landscape. And when we're busy and when we've got a lot going on distracting us, can make it a very noisy place to be, to really understand what's going on inside of us. So yeah, tool to recognize overwhelm and how to come out of it, be more effective and happy. Okay. Figure out how to navigate new insights and still connect with my friends and family. Okay. Good. Thank you. Excellent. So we'll see, certainly today is going to start to provide this platform. And again, you know, this isn't a one-hit exercise, because overwhelm comes in all sorts of shapes and stimulations. This is something that you will have to then come back to, and you can watch it more than once. You can keep returning back to this. Really, really powerful. Okay, so we're going to start with some questions, and you were talking about wanting to get to figure things out. Questions are so powerful. So what I want you to now do is to just do the opportunity of just dumping whatever's in your head out on paper. So write down anything that may be stressing you out right now or bothering you. So just literally take a few moments. You can just write this down. All the things that you might have running around in your head at the moment that are bothering you or stressing you out, causing you stress, just pop them down on paper. And again, you're welcome to share if there's anything that's come up for you with this. But we're just beginning to, everything that's in here, beginning to let it out, let it be seen by you. So what are the things that could be stressing you out? It might be something in relation to, like, when I made this list the other day, I had things like website come up, fitness, or I had, you know, I've got a friendship issue that I'm wondering how I'm going to address that. So that came up, you know, but predominantly right now, what's going on for me is very much the things that are stressing me are like the how-tos, because I'm doing so much work on my business. So like, how do I create landing pages? How do I get all the equipment to work properly? You know, that's all the how-tos right about now. And now I want to start getting a little bit more specific for you. So if that's like the initial download paper, I want you to now feel into or think about and write down anything that might be stressing you out or bothering you in relation to work or business, or maybe your career, but that sort of professional or work place. Just drop it down, write it down, anything that may come to your mind as something that's causing you stress or bothering you to do with work. And again, you can just drop single words in if that's more your style, or like sentences. Go with what works for you. Good. Okay. And now I want you, if we've gone specifically towards work, start coming back more to you and your personal life. So what things are stressing you or are bothering you in terms of your home life, in terms of your personal life? So it might be having children or not. It might be a relationship issue. It could be, or not having a relationship, that might be the issue. Might be something around friendships, or maybe even motivation to do anything right now. Yeah, just begin to jot down some things that you notice are coming up for you. Might even be that to-do list. Just like, oh, we've got the garden to do, there's so much to do. I know, I keep looking out at my garden, which this time of year is growing so quickly, so rampantly, and it's wonderful that we're at home. But yeah, there's still a lot to keep on top of. So again, just beginning to write this down. If this in itself is also starting to feel a little overwhelming, again, that's okay right now. I'm taking you to these places so you can start to get a bit more clarity on everything that you're holding up here. But I'm asking you some quite specific questions so that you can start to access and get clarity on what it is that may be showing up for you right now. Because often I can find that it just ends up being like a whirling mess. And even if I do know what some of the things might be, sometimes it can be quite difficult for me to really have clarity on exactly what they are. So now we're going to delve a little bit deeper. Is there anything from your past that may be stressing you out or bothering you? So this might be from past, like 1 second back, 1 second ago and back in your timeline, or it might be even going back to something in childhood. It might be something that happened a couple of weeks ago with a colleague at work, where you felt like you were spoken to rudely, or it might even be, you know, we're in the middle of the global pandemic at the moment. How's that shown up in your past? Has that been triggering or stressing you out at all? Maybe it might be, you know, you've had some bad news in the last few months or last few years, and that's, you know, stressing you out and still bothering you. So just, again, beginning to drop these things down. And so if we look back to the past, now what I encourage you to do is look forward to the future. Is there anything in the future that you can preempt you're starting to feel stressed or worried about? You've got maybe some decisions to make about some things, or you've got some events and situations that you know are coming up, or even that you're worried might come up and you're worried how you might deal with them. Pop those down. I know that this was really insightful for me to start looking into sort of the future over the next week, or might be a month, or the next 3 months, and starting to, yeah, just not jot down what might be coming up for you in terms of that future vision. It's funny, just a point of interest. I go to my left for the past and right for the future. I don't know what that means. Probably hasn't been in somewhere in something. Good, excellent. And again, you know, you will be sent this recording, so if there is anything that comes up, you know that you can come back to this at any point in time. Brilliant. So, good work. That's enough of the writing. Now all this stuff's coming up. Let's not leave you with it for more than you need to. Let's start to that process of shifting this stuff. So what I want you to do is there's 2 points that I want you to start holding. So you can down pen and paper now, but I want you to have your lists available so that you can see them and read them. And I want you to hold certain points. These are called emotional stress release points, and they sit on your forehead. They're almost like the little areas of your forehead that stick out maybe a little bit more than other parts, like 2 very gentle little lumps. If you're not entirely sure where they are, then you can just pop your hand over your forehead. And I want you to, whilst holding these points or holding your forehead, to start looking and reading through your lists. Because these points are emotional stress release points, or I can start feeling them beginning to pulsate. Okay. These are the points that start to encourage the release of the charge and start to bring forward your logical creative brain. So these points tend to be really active when you are looking at things that may start to stress you out. You know, when you look at that list on purpose, I've given that you've got lists of things that are stressful for you. Sorry, pardon me. Which isn't very comfortable, I get that. And these points are starting to bring your awareness into you, starting to signal to you that actually we're now wanting to let go of some of the charge around these things that are stressing and bothering you or that you're worried about. And we're beginning to, the whole parts we go through these next steps, these processes, is to start calming your energy down, taking the charge out of the emotions, calm your energy down, and beginning to center and ground you. Overwhelm tends to be quite an up there in your head, lost in your head state. So just starting to take some really nice deep breaths in and out. Good. And in. Good. And out. Brilliant. So just holding on to these points for just a few moments longer. As we are beginning, okay, and just let your hand down. And again, start shaking this out. We're beginning to bring your energy in. For those who are perhaps a little less familiar with this as an idea, overwhelm can leave us very scattered. So we're beginning to bring your energy back to you. We're beginning to take you out of your head and much lower down into like what gets called your seat. So much more grounding energy, where you start to feel more stable, beginning to start inviting you into that process of coming in and finding a center. So I'm going to take you through a breathing exercise now that then will lead into a visualization, which is all going to be around this element of deepening your breath, because often when we're overwhelmed, we're breathing from the top of our chest, taking short, shallow breaths, which can keep a state of overwhelm going, and anxiety and worry and fear. We want to breathe through that. And the more breath work I've been doing, ladies, the more powerful I really understand it to be. So I'm going to take you through some breaths where I'm going to be encouraging you to inhale for the same count as you exhale for. And then I'm going to take you through a process where you're going to hold the inhale for a couple of counts and then release. I'll be guiding you through this. And then I'm going to be taking you through a process to a visualization that again is just going to help center and ground your energy. Okay. So if you have any essential oils, you may use them at this time. I can certainly answer any questions that you have outside of this, but if any of you do have any essential oil kits that you want to use, air I find amazing for this because it helps you to breathe more deeply. The blend, I don't know if you can see that, that's called Balance. That's an amazing grounding oil. So if one helps you breathe deeply and easily, brilliant for anxiety or worry. The other one, Balance, helps you ground and feel more centered and secure. Or if you have, you don't have doTERRA, but you're interested in other oils, then because they're unique doTERRA blends, then lemon is really good for helping to clear your mental mind and to help promote clarity and focus. So for today, I'm going to be using air. So if you are using any oils, pop a drop in your hand. If you're not, do not worry. Obviously, if you're curious, come and speak to me after this, but I know some of you really like to use oils. So just allowing yourself to either begin to lower your gaze or close your eyes. And if you have got any essential oils that you're using, just taking some really nice deep breaths in. And if you haven't, I still encourage you to just place your left hand over your heart, right hand over your lower abdomen, and just start taking some really easy breaths in and out. Good. Now I'm going to begin to count you through the breath and through your breathing. This is where you're going to start to have the same inhalation to exhalation. So I now invite you to breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And in. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And in. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And in. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And on the next inhalation, you're going to hold at the top. So 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Excellent. And just allow your breathing to now just return back to however feels comfortable for you. And beginning to observe what's coming up. If any of this starts to feel like you can't really find your flow with it, it's okay. This is about nourishment. You just tune into my voice and join in where you can. Now it's okay if you start getting a little distracted. Absolutely. Tune in where you can. Take some wonderful breaths and find yourself drifting off. And then just begin to tune back into my voice. Excellent. Okay. So now I invite you to, again, still with your eyes closed, Your left hand over your heart area, your right hand over your lower abdomen. And imagine coming out of the soles of your feet. You have the most amazing roots. And these roots are beginning to journey down through the earth. And as you breathe in and out, every exhalation, you feel your roots begin to deepen. They begin to go further and further down. They begin to ever so very journey, push through the earth and go down towards the center of the earth, where they will begin. You will see that there's the most amazing ball of red molten lava right at the center, the energetic core of Mother Earth. And your roots start to connect with this red energy. This is where your ultimate ground, that energy of holding you, strengthening you, supporting you, and nurturing you, is found deep, deep, deep in the heart of Mother Earth. And as you begin to breathe in, I want you to imagine that that red light, that red energy is beginning to travel up through your roots. These strong, free-flowing root system, the red is beginning to travel up and up. And with every in-breath, you are drawing this beautiful red energy up. This powerful source, this grounding source, this energy is coming up through your roots until it reaches the soles of your feet. And now imagine that you're going to pull this grounding energy up. This red light's going to start to now fill up your feet, your ankles, your calves, your shins, your knees, your thighs. You're pulling it up, 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 up through your pelvis, up to your navel, where you're at all rest for a moment. So you are full of this incredible, rich red that's strength and grounding personified. You are connected directly down into Mother Earth. And no matter how strong the wind blows, like a tree, like the mighty oak tree, you do not fall over. You can flow and you can bend with the wind, but you are rooted, you are anchored, you are grounded. And now imagine from the furthest point in the sky that you are going to, there's this beautiful beam of white golden light that's going to come down from the furthest point of the universe down into your head, lighting your head, the beautiful white golden light that comes down through your neck, your shoulders, your arms, down to your fingertips, down through your chest, into your heart, filling up your abundant heart with this beautiful white golden healing energy, where it drops down to your navel. Amazing. Now imagine these two lights, these two colors begin to blend together. So the white golden light begins to blend with a strong, powerful red. And as they dance together, as they mix together, they begin to create this beautiful, healing, nurturing color of pink. As you allow this to completely fill up your body, from your head down to your toes, your fingertips, it becomes so full, this amazing pink light. Know that this is fully nurturing, this is compassionate, but also incredibly protective and cleansing. And as you allow yourself to be completely full of this pink light, I want you to imagine that you can inflate it. And it actually comes further outside of you. As you take a breath in, you begin to be able to allow this pink light to come around you so that you actually become surrounded in this bubble of pink light. In this bubble of pink energy that's holding you. and completely surrounds you, above you, behind you, left and right, below your feet, above your head, front and back. You are completely surrounded in this bubble. This bubble has you connected, grounded, has you able to receive inspiration, has you able to flow with the storms, but yet not blow over. And know that you're protected. This is your space. And connect with how this feels, how you feel held in your bubble. Observe, witness, and just take a moment to really embrace being held in your bubble. Good. Marvelous. And when you're ready, beginning to gently wiggle your toes and fingers and open your eyes and taking a big swig of water. Marvelous. Okay. Now to really help seal this in, there's a couple of points I'm going to get you to hold on your body. And the first one we're going to start with is lung 1. These are acupressure points. So if you come to where your shoulder meets sort of your torso as such, kind of comes around, come about, so just drop down from the collarbones. At the start of that, you'll see, if you bring your shoulders forward, you'll feel that there's a little indent. If you just go to that space, and just gently hold with your fingers. And take some nice deep breaths in and out. Now the lung 1 point releases any fear you may have held on to in your chest. Worry and anxiety and feelings of lack or not being enough. You can be so powerful in the drive to do more, especially when you're in overwhelm. Any grief you may be holding on to or difficulty in letting go. This is the point to really activate that ability to let go. You're not holding on, and to know that you're enough. So if at any time you have any wobbles around believing that you're enough or feeling enough, these are great points to be holding. Again, if you feel like your chest is beginning to tighten, these are marvelous points to hold to help release that constriction, help you breathe more easily, hence lung 1 points. Good. I'm just beginning to flick those out. And now coming to the next set of points. These are, if you go to your collarbones, where your 2 sort of knobbly bits are in your collarbones, and just drop down about an inch, inch and a half, you'll find a little indentation, little dip. So again, just gently having your fingers placed over that area. This is kidney 27, which this is the point for if you have any fears or anxiety or worries that start to come up. These are amazing points. Oh, mine are really strongly pulsing. You may or may not feel something right now. That's okay. But these are great points to help calm down any fears and worries and anxieties. To help, yeah, feeling big. Yeah, just keep breathing. Just keep allowing your breath to really move in and out. Okay, feeling painful. Yeah, there's stuff stored here. So just keep allowing yourself to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So powerful. Breathe right the way down to your seat bones. And these points are brilliant for helping to bring up fear, but also then to help let it go, so that they're real powerful for activating your intuition, which can get really difficult to hear and to connect with when you've got so much worry and fear and anxiety. Good. Okay, excellent. So brilliant. That's starting to feel a bit freer. And now we're going to come on to a point called Heart 5. So if you go to the side of your wrists, and if you kind of do come down by about sort of a couple of fingers width, so you're at the side, and drop down one, drop down the next, you'll begin to connect with a point called Heart 5. And again, just taking some really nourishing deep breaths here. This point is going to start to activate your heart energy, beginning to draw you out of your mind and down into your heart. And this is the space that when you're in your heart, it's so much more of a space for forgiveness and acceptance, and where you can let go a little bit of the ego, the mind that's trying to control everything. And the heart's energy is so wise, so knowing, so all encapsulating. Brilliant. And swapping over to the other side. Again, you might feel, on my left side, like I can feel a pull. It's almost like it's drawing stuff out that's stuck. Yeah, it's almost stuff that's kind of keeping me stuck from my head and getting into my heart. So for those of you who perhaps are more experienced with sensing things in your body, or naturally just a bit more sensitive, you might be having experiences here, that's okay. Or, you might not be feeling anything, but it does feel like there's a lot coming up. And it does feel like there's huge amounts around really loving yourself, trusting yourself. You've got this. Totally have. It can be worth sometimes setting yourself little reminders. I know during some of the really tough times that I had, I put a post-it note that just reminds me, I've got this, or you've got this. I have it on my screensaver, I have it on my phone. And it just, I told people as well around me, the Brett, as this is getting, intense, can you please just remind me when I'm having an intense day that I've got this? And it was brilliant to cue my partner up and say, can you remind me I've got this right now? Oh, yeah, okay. Just beginning to shake it out. Okay. So finally, just beginning to come back to the start for your intention and those lists that you made. How are they feeling now? That's if you just hold these points in your head again and you look at the lists. Do they feel as loaded or as charged? And this isn't, logically, but just that sort of sensation in your body. I would imagine that, yeah, a lot calmer. When you're feeling a lot calmer and a lot lighter, then it can start to help you feel a little bit more in control. Yeah, don't have the answers, but I've got this. And that's the big thing. This isn't about always having the answers. It's about having the space to let the answers come in, and that trust that when the time's right, they'll come in. You know, you've got this. Better answers come up. Yeah, you've got more space to think and feel with a lot more clarity. Excellent. So coming back to your intentions, yeah, looking over it. How does it feel? Not so desperate to deal with them. Yeah. So that statement of you've got this, you know, that might be something that you want to bring in as part of your toolkit. Like I said, with the post-it notes when you screensaver. Know that you can come back to this video at any time. If you start feeling like you're slipping into overwhelm, bring this video out, go through this process, dedicate this time and this space. And again, perhaps you've only had a small shift today. Depending on how overwhelmed you are, it may take a couple of times for this, of you doing a process like this, to help shift stuff. That's okay. You know, some of us have taken days, weeks, months, years in overwhelm. So again, remember, you've got this. Trust in the process. And likewise, know that you might experience some really big shifts from today of just that, oh, I've got this. You know, great. Great work, everyone. Amazing. Okay. So this is well done. First and foremost, you've done some great work today. Remember, drink plenty of water, because you're still going to carry on clearing and still going to be carrying on shifting stuff even after we speak today. So just because you've gone through this process, it doesn't stop here. That's the beauty of that energy. It will continue to do its work. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box now. If you've got any reflections on, you know, what's come up for you today, how you're feeling, how this has resonated with you, how it may have helped you, then by all means, pop them in the chat box now, or you can message me outside of today. And again, if you would like any more information on any of the oils, if you're not so aware of what oils are out there and how they may help, let me know, because the three that I've named, air, balance and lemon, are brilliant for helping to shift some things. So brilliant, so glad it's helpful. And yeah, excellent. This is your toolkit. You can bring this into your practice, bring this into as part of your toolkit. Think, if overwhelm comes up, think you can come to this. And where can you buy essential oils from? So if you would like this specific brand, which I'm very passionate about because of the quality of them, then I can have a conversation with you outside of here. Actually, what I'll do is on the email from today, when I enclose the link for you to be able to watch this again, I will also then put some details on where you can start to set up an account and get these oils. They're through a brand called doTERRA. So 2 of them are blends that are unique to doTERRA. But if you wanted to go more general, look at getting something that's organic because you want the quality, then lemon would be great for overwhelm. You know, and you're far more likely to get access to lemon. But I love lemon for head clearing and space and clarity and focus. So if any of you have any other questions, diffusers. So I use a doTERRA one again. And I can certainly send out a link in the email around that particular, you know, which one I use. But again, there's some good ones for about 30, you know, between 20 and 35 pounds that you can get through Amazon. But I use the doTERRA one because I find it's just a very lovely diffuser. And I can set timers on it as well. So I can send you some details of that. And again, a link where you can set up an account, or you can come to me. I can buy them for you, and then I can send out to you, drop them off to you if you're local. Oh, bless you. Thank you, as always. You are incredible, ladies. And remember, from my heart to yours, you've got this. So one final check-in, hand on your heart, left hand on your heart, right hand on your belly. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And in and out. Amazing. Have a beautiful day. Anything else, you know where I am. And thank you for gracing me with your time and your energy and your presence. I'm sending you all so much love and wishing you a truly beautiful day. Take care. Bye bye.